to a concerned advocate, a pillar, a strong supporter for education of the youth and empowerment of the youth. It is my pleasure to introduce to you an eloquent speaker, a motivational speaker, Dr. Ahmad Yu from the Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty of Education at Ahmad University, Zaria, to please come and give us a brief speech. So you're welcome.
The judges and respective teachers of individual schools, students present, other invited guests, and also staff of Abdullahi Mohammed Public Library. You are welcome to this August occasion of men and women of substance. I will start by appreciating the individual schools for honoring our invitation, because without you present or if you decline the invitation, actually such a program will not hold. So we mostly, as a library, appreciate the honor you give to our invitation and your presence here. So you are all welcome. So on the other side are the group of judges and individuals, a very wonderful team to work with, and they are a group of individuals who are also advocates and ambassadors when it comes to affairs related to development of children and youth, which represent the future of this country. So actually, words alone cannot, I don't even have the words to express my type of gratitude and thanks for this group of young men and women you see around, who always meet me in several occasions, initiate the process, and without even taking consideration of anything, maybe material or anything otherwise. So thank you very much for your presence, and I would really appreciate your partnership and welcome. So generally for the youth, whenever we go for a kind of gathering of this nature, when we go into our societies, you discover that when we see what is happening to us today as a country, as a society, as a community, you almost give up, give up when it comes to the hope of our country and other things. But what we always recognize and give you the hope back is when you look at the future generation. Because this is our generation, but the future generation belongs to this class of individuals. And you will all agree with me that if we have people with this kind of characters, and at this particular level, with the kind of knowledge they have displayed in the past and they are about to display this afternoon or this morning, then definitely you know that if these are the individuals that will represent our future, then actually this country really has a future. And this is where we rely on, and this is our expectation. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you are here, we are here to participate in this annual competition, which is spelling bee. It is something, some of your faces are not new here, because I remember last year we had something similar in Narit, and I can still see that some of the faces that are sitting here still here participated in last year's exercise. And during that exercise, a lot of individuals were kind of impressed. So in this exercise, I want to also tell you that there is no winner and there is no loser. And that's for participating, for you to be chosen from your school to represent, to be ambassadors of your school, then actually you can also raise your shoulders high and be proud of yourself. Because in that particular school where you are coming from, there are hundreds, tens or thousands of students, but you are because your teachers, your mentors, knows that you are worthy of it, meaning that they have the kind of work, they can always stand for you and they can be a witness, and they can also beat their chest and say that they are actually, you are also actually a mentee under them. So for you to be selected, you should be very proud of that, and for you to also be invited into this prestigious institution that is Abdullahi University area to come and participate in this kind of work. The program, you should also be proud of that. So wherever you are, you should be proud of yourself that you are selected, and you are selected because you are worth it. If you are not worthy, you are not going to be worth choosing. So in order not to waste too much of our time, because time is not on our side, I would like to, at the same time, welcome each and every one of us again into this program, and we pray that Allah will give us the opportunity and will grant us the chance we complete this program successfully. So you are welcome once again.
You believe with me that Doctor is a motivational speaker, as I earlier announced. Please, can we put our hands together for you? Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the program, may I quickly recognize the presence of members of the high table who are equally the judges. Starting by my right is Madam Ali Magaji, who is one of the judges. Madam Ali Magaji, can you please put your hands for recognition? We have Mohammed Adeku Salami, who is the National Secretary, Library and Information Circulation Forum of Nigeria. Please, a round of applause. We have with us one of the judges as Aisha O. Ibrahim. Last but not least is the National President, Library and Information Sensitization Forum of Nigeria, in person of Yusuf Ishaq. Lastly, I am Sani Al-Hassan, a member and a master of ceremony of the Library and Information Sensitization Forum of Nigeria. I am equally a staff of the Ahmad University Zaria, and currently the Assistant Secretary, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, Ahmad University branch, the most prestigious, the most cosmopolitan, and the largest university in Sub-Saharan Africa, east of the equator, north of the Sahara, and south of the Popo. Please put your hands together. Ladies and gentlemen, may I quickly invite to the mic the judges to please kickstart the program because we are honestly behind schedule.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome all of you to the LISFN 2023 Spelling competition in collaboration with Abdullahi Mohammed Public Library. So you're welcome. So I would like all the schools, the spellers, to listen to the rules and regulations that is guiding the spelling bee competition. So please listen carefully. The first rules and regulations. You are making noise. Hey, what is your name? Which school are you? Stop making noise. Just listen to the rules and regulations. Thank you. The first rule is that the pronouncer announces the word to be spelled, and we are the pronouncer. So we announce the word to be spelled, then the speller listens carefully to the pronouncer and listen to the word to be repeated if necessary. When the speller is sure he or she understands the word, he or she pronounces it, spells it, and then says the word again, and must be said loudly enough for the judge to hear it. Spellers are required to be very audible and clear on their spelling. A speller has 60 seconds, that's 1 minute, after saying the first letter of the word to spell his or her word and pronounce the word. It is the right and responsibility of the speller to request the pronunciation, the repronunciation, definition, and sentence example. So you can ask the judge to repronounce a word, to make it in a sentence, and even tell you the meaning of the word. It is your right and responsibility. So, but then, the pronouncer are not to tell you the meaning of the word unless you request. At your request, if you do not request, that is all. Spellers are advised to make use of this right and responsibility and do not rely on pronunciation. So don't rely on the pronunciation alone, but you are advised to make right of this responsibility by asking the pronouncer to repronounce again, tell you the definition, or even use it in a sentence for you to understand more clearly before you start spelling. But once you start spelling and you pronounce a letter, you are not allowed to change the letter. For example, if you have to spell cap and you say C-O, and you start again and say no, C-K, then you fail. You don't change the letters you've already pronounced. A speller cannot change the order of letters in a word after pronouncing the letter during spelling. The judge may disqualify any contestants who ignore a request to spell his or her word after a reasonable length of time. So, meaning that after 1 minute, the judge can disqualify if you do not spell a word that the judge has pronounced. The judges determine whether or not the word was spelled correctly. So the judges has the final say whether or not you are correct or you are wrong. So if you are correct, the judge will say correct, that's the pronouncer. But if you are wrong, the pronouncer will say wrong, and we have the final say. If the correct spelling is given, the speller remains in the competition. If the spelling is incorrect, the speller will be eliminated, and the judge will give the correct spelling of that word, then the pronouncer read a new word to the next speller. So what this means is that when you spell the word correctly, you go back, you continue the competition, but then when you spell the word wrongly, then you are out of the competition. So you just be going there. Thank you. When there are only 2 spellers left, if one speller misspells a word, the other spellers must spell that word correctly, plus 1 more word to be declared the winner of the spelling. So in every round, if there is 2 spellers left, when the speller fails, he's going to remain, he's not going. Then the word will still be given to the other speller to spell it. If he spells it correctly, then he'll be given another word to spell. If he spells correctly, then the other speller that failed has been eliminated, while the other one will either be declared winner, or if there is another round, then he will now continue with the competition. Complaint concerning the spelling of word must be brought up before the end of the current round. So to all schools, any complaint you have in a current round, you can bring it forward to the judges to look at it. But then, when we are done with the round, then you cannot forward any complaint. In the event of any complaint, suggestion, or need for clarification, such should be directed to the judge. So we are not expecting any school to raise an issue where he is sitting, but then you can forward it to the table where the judges are to look at it to see whether or not it's something that should be considered. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the rules and regulations that guide the LISFN 2023 spelling bee competition in collaboration with Abdullahi Mohammed Public Library. Thank you. So the first item we are starting, you have to arrange yourself accordingly, systematic. You are not to be directed. So number 1 should come here, 2, 3, you have 2 minutes to do that. Don't direct them. 2 minutes to do that.
One to 10. Number 1.